The movies have conditioned us to expect one thing in infested waters, a boiling frenzy of teeth that strips a person to the bone. Despite that terrifying on-screen reputation, the reality is entirely different. You can legally purchase these fish right now and keep them as standard household pets, which is exactly what we're doing. These are red-bellied piranhas, widely considered one of the most aggressive species in the Amazon. To see what they're really capable of, we're building them a massive, biologically accurate riverbed enclosure, complete with a custom DIY feeding system. Once the habitat is fully operational, I'll put my bare hand straight into the water with the hungry school to test if they actually bite. To get a true test of aggression, we can't drop them in a bare glass box. We have to construct an environment where their natural hunting instincts can thrive. The first thing to know about piranhas is how they travel. Because they are schooling fish, they panic in standard small aquariums. They require massive tanks, holding well over 100 gallons of water to move confidently. For the layout, we're taking direct inspiration from their native habitat, the submerged, root-choked riverbeds of the Amazon. We start the build by stacking thick pieces of driftwood on the tank floor, then hot gluing a network of thinner branches over the top to replicate a massive tree trunk extending underwater. To lock this heavy wood into place securely, you have to use an expanding spray foam. It is absolutely critical that this foam is rated specifically as water-safe. Otherwise, the chemicals will leach out and poison the fish. With the structure secure, we detail the floor to match a chaotic river bottom, layering fine sand, large smooth river stones, and a scattering of smaller pebbles. Next comes the live aquatic flora. A crucial tip for planting is to add just a few inches of water to the tank first, ensuring the roots stay soft and alive while you position them. To complete the look, we're adding a few decorative skulls to create a graveyard theme. By lightly sprinkling sand over the top of the bone structures, they look like they've been authentically unearthed by the river currents. A dense, highly textured environment provides the necessary psychological cover the school needs to feel secure, allowing them to exhibit their natural behaviors. Supporting a heavily stocked tank requires serious life support. We run a large bubble wall across the entire back glass, which constantly hyper-oxygenates the water. Then we install the most important piece of the setup, a DIY scent dispensing feeder designed specifically to manually trigger the piranha's hunting instincts. The attractant itself is a homemade concoction. We blend raw beef, sardines, tuna, and bone broth down into a concentrated, highly aromatic liquid base. We load this liquid into a large plastic syringe, which is permanently glued to the upper rim of the tank. When it's time to feed, pressing the plunger forces the liquid down a small tube directly into the water. That dense plume of scent rapidly expands outward. In seconds, the smell washes over the entire school, signaling a fresh kill is nearby. This technological trigger completely removes the guesswork from feeding time, giving us a controlled way to test exactly what they will and won't eat. Moving these highly aggressive fish from their holding containers into the finished enclosure requires careful net handling to ensure nobody gets bitten during the transfer. Once they settle in, we start the diet test with insects. We drop in live crickets and mealworms, but the response is terrible. A couple of fish nip at them out of curiosity, but the school generates almost no real interest. So we move on to the meat test. We press the syringe to activate the scent feeder, prime the water, and immediately drop in solid chunks of raw beef and salmon. The reaction is immediate and chaotic. The entire school swarms the meat, completely surrounding it and tearing the chunks apart in seconds. Look closely at their jaw structure. Shredding thick, raw muscle tissue quickly requires an immense amount of mechanical cutting power, driven by interlocking, razor-sharp teeth. Their total rejection of the insects, followed by this violent reaction to raw meat, proves exactly how formidable their carnivorous capabilities really are. The tank is fully optimized, the fish are comfortable, and we've proven they have a lethal drive for raw meat. Now it's time for the final bare-handed test. I slowly lower my bare hand directly into the center of the water column, surrounded by the school, and start the stopwatch. But rather than swarming, the reaction is fascinatingly anticlimactic. The piranhas actively retreat, pulling back to the edges of the tank and avoiding my hand completely. This exposes the biological truth behind their behavior. In the wild, piranhas are primarily opportunistic scavengers, picking off the dead and dying. They are not apex predators. They are perfectly comfortable destroying a small piece of loose beef, but they are absolutely terrified of a large, living organism entering their space. Red-bellied piranhas require immense respect, constant sharp awareness, and specialized care. But the Hollywood myth of the instant, water-boiling man-eater is entirely busted.